Good day, everyone, especially to our Professor Ma'am Sharamika Dongog.
We are the first group representing,
And we will be talking about the flight from conversation.
Shari Torkel is a professor of the studies of science and technology in the program in Science, Technology and Society at MIT. The Flight from Conversation is an article written by Shari Torkel for the New York Times, focusing primarily on the willing sacrifice of conversation, personal, face-to-face interaction, and relationship for online technological connections. The author argues in favor of conversation, stating that it's more personal and intimate. Isolating yourself to online connection leads to many consequences, according to the author. Such consequences include reduced interpersonal skills, reduced patience, and lack of self-reflection skills. Furthermore, the author states that living in this online world leads to delusion relation. Furthermore, the author states that living in this online world leads to delusion relationships, loss of faith in others, weakened personalities, and greater loneliness. Turco also believes these devices and new trends are changing people for the worse. To avoid this, she suggests that people limit the use of their electronic devices and online connection while continuing to seek out face-to-face conversation. Little devices in our pocket are so psychologically powerful. They change what we do and who we are. We're letting technology take us places we don't want to go. Technology leads us to be together while not being together. In other words, we're getting used to be a new way of being alone together. Turtle stated that human relationships are rich, they're messy and demanding. We have learned that the habit of cleaning them up with technology and the move from conversation to connection is part of this. But it's a process in which we shortchange ourselves. Worse, it seems that over time we stop caring, we forget that there is a difference. This implies that we have lost skills of conversation and replaced them with connection through text and social media. In other words, technology has negatively affected people's communication skills when interacting face-to-face because they prefer to text or email each other. Another thing is she stated was the intimate conversation when interacting face-to-face because they prefer to text or email each other. Another thing she stated was the intimate conversation with one another, as she said that face-to-face conversation unfolds slowly. It teaches patience. When we communicate on our digital devices, we develop different habits. Because of technology, she said that we're become accustomed to a new way of being alone together. Technology enabled, we are able to be with one another also. How does globalization impact the way people communicate?
The impact of global society are the following. First, increase innovation. Second, improve education. And the third, redistribute wealth. Fourth, avoid distraction. And lastly, but not the least, stay focused.
Generally, the flight from conversation by Sherry Turkle give us realization. There is no doubt that technology has changed the way humans communicate. Today, more people are hiding their feelings and whereabouts behind mobile phones, and this has raised suspicions among families, friends, and couples. Great impacts can be seen in the way communication has changed the social structures of our society at all levels. Even in years to come, technology will remain the driving force of the way people interact. The tremendous proliferation of this device has drastically changed the traditional communication model. The use of mobile technology has affected people's personalities to a great extent. Cultural diversity makes communication difficult as the mindset of people of different cultures are different. The language, signs, and symbols are also different. Different cultures have different meaning of words, behaviors, and gestures. Also give rise to prejudices, ethnocentrism, manners, and opinions.
In paragraph 24, Turkle said, so in order to feel more, and to feel more like ourselves, we connect. But in our rush to connect, we flee from solitude, our ability to be separate and gather ourselves. Lacking the capacity for solitude, we turn to other people but don't experience them as the one.
Gordon Brown's objectives of his speech is about making each and every country being connected to each other by the means of communication and moral sense. And the way you emphasize that the poorest people in the country has also their capacities to be on their fullest strength if only be given a chance.
Global communication is directly affected by the process of globalization and helps to increase business opportunities, remove cultural barriers, and develop a global village. Both globalization and global communication have changed the environment, cultural, political, and economic elements of the world.
Connecting with people on the other side of the world is now much easier than it was a few years ago. Even though we're far from each other, we were able to communicate to each other through online communication.
I believe that Gordon Brown only addresses the positive of communication. True that the world can be profoundly affected, but that doesn't mean just in a good way, but also in a bad way. Terrorists and people that wish to harm can use the internet as a tool to spread their nefarious plans. Also, censorship is an issue. Censorship restricts the input and output of information. Even though censorship is getting harder and harder to impose, it is still practiced in places such as North Korea and China. Censorship is a hindrance to the idea of Gordon Brown has proposed, the idea of using the web to fight global problems.